Hello and a very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching the brand new edition of India Fights Back with your host Kriti Mishra. Dermatologists say they're seeing an increase in the number of people who have recovered from COVID-19 seeking help for hair loss. The contributing factors are stress, inflammatory reactions in the body during the infection, medicines given during the COVID treatment, and also the virus itself. Usually, COVID-19 patients experience hair loss a month after recovering from the disease. In some cases, hair loss is observed during the infection period too. It is a result of the shock the body sustains after suffering from fever and other symptoms during COVID-19. And for deeper insights on this, I'm joined by Dr. K.D. Burman, Professor, Department of Dermatology, Maulana Azad Medical College, and Dr. Shubhlakshmi Magrikar, Professor, Department of Medicine, Lady Hardinge Medical College. Welcome to Sunset TV, both of you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And Dr. Burman, coming to you first. Women perpetually complain about hair loss, but COVID has made the issue even worse. What are the patients coming and telling you, sir?
Yeah, basically after the COVID, there are many patients comes to us complaining of loss of hair. See, in fact, number of the patient has increased. See, this is something like this. All the normally patients got hair loss, but this time there was a mass infections with COVID, so the number of the patient has gone increased. So, see, in earlier days, usually used to come one to two patients per day, but these days we come a lot of patients with the complaints of hair loss because during pandemics, most of the patients got simultaneously the infections. So the number of the patients has gone high. The main reasons, as you have already mentioned, some of the causes, like medicine is one of the cause, and inflammations due to disease, it's one of the cause. And because of because of infections as well as fever, the patient has stopped eating. Most of the patients have stopped eating or maybe reduce their diet. There is also one of the cause because that leads to many deficiencies. See, when you stop your daily regular habit, something like you're taking regularly normal food, but due to fever or due to COVID infections, you can say like so if you reduce the taking of foods, this will cause your many deficiencies. For example, you are not taking irons properly, you are not taking multivitamins properly. These are the causes of hair loss during these days. So common cause is this mainly, yeah, ma'am. And see, this is normally if I explain better way, like we have a hair cycle, four phases of hair cycle. One is called anagen phase, another one is called catagen phase, another one is third one is called telogen or exogen phase. Telogen and exogen phase are the almost some people combine it, but in anagen phase there is a hair growing phase. In catagen phase there is a transitional phase. This is for mainly for few days. I mean, and mainly telogen phase is for resting phase that lasts for a lot. That last telogen phase is a resting phase, as well as exogen is a seeding phase. So in these cases, what happens with the infections and stress and all like this telogen phase is become more like this is known as telogen effluvium. What we call is a telogen effluvium. So most of the cases are normal. Any stress, like not only COVID, even normal surgery, normal stress, any sort of fever, like even typhoid fever, you can say, like even major operations, you can say, that can give you this type of hair loss. So in fact, this is no, in fact, reactions to body. So one can I say. So usually this come back. I mean, this hair come back normally. Maybe it may take 6 months to sometimes it may take 9 months also.
My God, 9 months,
So
that's a very long period of time. But Dr.
6 to
Margikar,
9
I
months.
was reading this report which says that hair goes into falling because 60 to 70% of the roots, they become weak. So somebody as somebody who specializes in medicine, ma'am, what is your suggestion?
Yeah, so both of you, ma'am, yourself and Dr. Saab already have told these are many causes. There are many causes leading to hair fall. As you said, the root becomes weak. It is mainly because of many reasons, like we have already discussed: stress, loss of nutrition, or not taking proper nutrition. And this is stress. This word stress doesn't mean ki in Hindi if we call it is chinta. It is not like chinta. It is stress related to anything. Like fever itself is a stress. Body is facing that stress. So fever, any maybe something wrong happening in your family, like in COVID times, when some of the members are been suffering from COVID, some are more severe COVID, or there is means a fear that he or she may be losing their near and dear one, or some family members have already lost. So these are the things which we call as a stress. So these all things work in a this thing accordingly, and this will lead to low nutrition because they are stressed, they are not taking proper diet, proper meal, and not taking timely also. That also matters, because everything in moderation is good. Anything which is below moderation or above moderation is not good for your body, for your health. So whatever we are doing or whatever we are taking, like stress, it is in everyone's life. So if that stress is above that, which a body or a human being is not ready to accept or is not able to accept, leads to this type of condition. In fever, like Dr. Saab already told, typhoid fever, which is a prolonged fever. We are not used to having fever. So if any body faces this fever, that time, because of many reasons, patient is not feeling like having food, not feeling like having anything or something like that. So that will lead to stress as well as decrease in nutritive thing taking in. So these will combinedly affect the body metabolism. This will combinedly affect the not actually the immunity, but yes, the response of the body to anything which is not yours, that is foreign body, or that is that stress or fever or whatever we are talking about. So the thing which is not body is used to, and if that body has to face these type of stress, then it leads to this weakening of the hair roots and leading to excessive fall. So as we have already said, 50 to 100 hair fall per day is counted as normal. So anything above that is abnormal. That is, a patient may feel like a bunch of hair falling off whenever he or she combs his hair. So they are actually there is actually a fear of combing. So patient will feel like, no, I will not comb my hair, because after that, then again this hair fall will occur. So this is what we have to understand. It is just because of this stress, inflammation, and this nutrition, poor nutrition. These all combinedly affect the body and lead to this weakening of hair and falling of hair.
All right, ma'am. But one of the biggest concerns, Dr. Barwan, that we have is whether it is hair loss or hair fall, temporary in nature or it may prolong. As you said, 9 months. So how temporary is this problem going to be?
See, it says usually it lasts up to 6 to 9 months. So then you become a normal. So this is temporary hair loss. Basically, what we call is telogen effluvium. As we already discussed this thing, like this is mainly because of sudden reductions of many things, like you can say like multivitamins, nutrients. Minerals like iron, something like this. So sudden reductions of many things, taking of many things. This is the main cause. So to recover all these things, it usually takes. Overall, we all know like hair growth breaks very slow. Like we usually cut our hair maybe 1 inch in a month, and so this takes a very long time. So even in fact, this hair has to grow from the deep, so it will take at least some time. So usually this took normal course is 6 to 9 months. So during this phase, we only this advice is to take a proper nutrition.
All right, so proper nutrition is very, very important, and let's try and understand that. Dr. Margekar, what kind of diet do you suggest to people?
So in simple language, if you want to understand, it is a moderation in everything. Previously, I also told everything in moderation is good. So for nutritive, this thing, if we are talking about the patient should take a good diet, a nutritive diet, that will contain more of the vitamins, more of the minerals, which we can take. And we have in India also, we have many things which are rich in these things. So we can take normal food habits, which traditionally we follow in our previous years. Means you can say our grandparents, what they used to take was a best nutritive things which usually we should take. But because of this fast growing, this thing, fast life, we actually skip many things. today I am going a bit late, so I have to take my breakfast, so I will take whatever is available at that point of time. I will not prefer to take, or I will not think of taking anything which is more nutritive than which is prepared more faster. So this we have to differentiate, or we need to understand. So if for nutrition like nuts, it doesn't take any extra time to have nuts. So a handful of nuts, that is very good. That nuts may contain means almonds, walnut. So mixture of all, raisins, mixture of all, a handful of this will be good enough for a person, adult person, for a day. So this may be one thing. And other nutrition, seasonal fruits, they are very good in nutritive value. So seasonal fruits, vegetables which are available in the season, according to the season. In now, so we can get any vegetable any time of any season because of better storage and everything. But usually the seasonal vegetables which are available should be taken. That is very nice. And as I told, the traditional food like the chapati and rice. So this chapati and rice should be in moderation. Like these are carbohydrates which add on calories. So we don't want additional calories. We want more of the nutritive value food. So cut off the this roti and rice, which is more of a carbohydrate rather than anything else. So you should cut off these and add more of the fruits and vegetable in your diet, along with some dairy products, which is also good for health, like milk with this avoiding the cream out of that, because it will again add to your calories. So we don't want calories, we want additional nutritive things. So these things can be added. And sugar, whenever possible, avoid added sugars, which is not at all means healthy. Not only the patient is diabetic, then only they should avoid. Otherwise also, excessive sugar is not good for health, so that can be avoided. And otherwise, so these all things will be very beneficial if we want to build up our nutrition by having the things which is already available with us.
All right,
think
but
one more
Dr.
thing.
Barman, a lot of people have also started taking dietary supplements, protein supplements. What is your suggestion to them?
That can help in some extent, but I would like to add some more thing like in the dietary habit. But for person who is taking, who are non-vegetarian, I think we can well advise them to take a fish as well as lean meat. Ideally, as Madam already said, like a low-fat diet is advisable in these cases. And supplements, yes, supplements do help. See, in addition to this, because that will give you in a concrete way. In a one place, like something like, see, so that will help, but it should be under the supervisions of any medical persons.
Exactly, that should be under the supervision of a medical practitioner. But Dr. Margekar, we often see that doesn't happen. People start taking steroids without anybody's supervision. People also start taking supplements. What do you tell these people?
Very, very important and pertinent question. So supplements, as doctors have also told, supplement is important, can be given, but under supervision. So leave it on the physician or dermatologist or the doctor, whosoever you are consulting with, to decide how much and for how long you require that supplement. Because as I also told and doctors have also told, the thing which is already available in our nature should be used first. They are of more values than nutritional supplements. These supplements can be added if it is required for a fixed duration of time, say like 15 days or 1 month. Then once the body has built up that extra loss, you can again shift on to that nutritive value. Second thing is steroid. This is a drug which should not be taken without any prescription, without any advice. Because of this COVID, everyone was in stress. No beds were available. Oxygen requirement is there, but oxygens are not available in many times oxygen bed or not. Multiple things were going on. At that point of time, patients have used this steroid and everything, which actually long-term use of these steroid have multiple side effects,
Yes,
which we don't face it then and there, but that is faced later on. So very correctly pointed out by you that steroid, this drug should not be used without any advice. It should not be used by their own, by any of the person for because of any reason, but it should be used only after consulting your physician.
All right, so that is the biggest point, the drive home point today on the show, that please do not consume any medicine without the advice of the doctor. But Dr. Barman, a lot of home remedies for hair loss, hair gain.
Yeah.
In this situation, which is post-COVID or during COVID, should people rely on these?
This is something like use of curd for dandruff, something like this. So it is not a concrete, evidence. So, but sometimes some people all do help because this contains some of the acid. So they may clean your scalp for dandruff. So it is something like this. So using home remedies may not help always, but see, this is a telogen effluvium, as already mentioned earlier also. See, this is a temporary or a transient phase, you can say. So this will automatically recover. If you use during those days any remedies without knowing, so sometimes it may harm you also, because, or it may delay your hair growth. So because this I already mentioned, like this is a normal hair loss, so it will come back. So some people believe after using home remedies they have regained a hair loss. So this is not exactly like that. So it is automatically, naturally this hair will come back. So this is something. It's not advisable for home remedies.
All right.
Personally, as a being,
but
I will not advise.
But Dr. Margekar, there are several medicines in the market ensuring hair gain. What is your take on them?
Foremost thing is reassurance. Foremost thing is reassurance that the patient should know if this is a temporary hair loss, as Dr. Saab is also very much focusing on it. It is a temporary thing, it will regain, but it will take its sweet time. It is not like कि मैंने सोचा it should my hair should be all right by this last month last. It is not like that. It will take its time. So reassurance is very important, and this reassurance can be given by a healthcare giver like a doctor, whosoever patient is attending. And second thing, drugs. Drugs are, there are many drugs. Dr. Saab will be focusing on that also. But drugs are of some value where this regain is not there, or that drugs are usually used where this we are thinking of permanent loss. But the main thing is the reassurance. Second thing is increase in protein intake. That protein we can get from pulses. That protein we can get from egg if patient is taking a non-vegetarian diet, or from other non-vegetarian food. That protein increase in protein in your diet, reassurance, and rest lies. This hair gain will be according to its time. As Dr. Saab said, it is from 6 to 9 months. Sometimes may extend after that also, but it varies from person to person. It is individualized. It is not like one person is gaining in 1 month and second is taking 2 months. How it is possible? It is not like that. Every body reacts differently, so it will regrow by itself because it is a temporary hair loss, and drugs have not much role in it.
All right, but Dr. Barman, are we also seeing different patterns in men and women?
Yes. See, these telogen effluviums are almost the same pattern, but you do have hair loss in different patterns. But post-COVID hair loss pattern is like almost same. Some person who become more severe, they have lost more of hair. If they have less severe disease, they have a loss of hair. So this is something, nothing new for us, because see, whenever patients go to severe on ventilations, so for them nutritional deficiency is much more. In fact, their stress level will be much more. So their hair loss will be more as comparison to the less severe fever. So these are the patterns after post-COVID. But normally we do see normal hair loss. Like for example, for men, we do see normal hair loss, male pattern hair loss, what we call is androgenetic alopecia. And with the disease one, like we do call alopecia areata, there is an autoimmune disease. So something like this. And person with a psychological problem, we do see the trichotillomania, where patients pull their own hair, and this thing. So these are the hair loss pattern what we commonly see. But this post-COVID, as I mentioned, depending on your severity, hair loss is more, and less severe, hair loss is less. And somewhere like even some drugs. See, there are many drugs which can causes more hair loss. Like even some biological use that can also causes more hair loss. And biological has been used in during COVID. So this is a pattern what we just see commonly.
All right, Dr. Margekar, before we end this show, a very important point that I'd like to discuss with you. Can hormone fluctuation also cause hair follicles to go into a prolonged resting state?
Very correct told by you, and a very important point in this discussion, because people should also be aware of these things also. So hormonal changes, very, it is important aspect in hair loss. Like in pregnancy, there is hormonal changes. During menopause, this female experiences many hormonal changes, usually of estrogen and progesterone. These are the two main female hormones which act at this point of time. Same is with lactation, pregnancy, and that's why it is very common to hear also, and the patient also comes after pregnancy, I am experiencing hair loss. So this is what it is. It is because of these hormonal changes. Even after menopause also, the same thing happens. So this is very important. The hormonal changes definitely lead to hair loss or change in, you may say, hair growth or something like that. And even hormones like thyroid hormone, this is also an important hormone. And now this hypothyroidism is a condition which is very rampantly increasing in India as well as otherwise also. Maybe because we are more vigilant and we are more able to diagnose it. But these patients also experience hair loss very frequently. So many times it is the only presenting picture with which patient presents to dermatologists, because they are not aware of their thyroid status, and they get themselves tested because the dermatologist advised them for thyroid function test. And then it is like this hair loss was first symptom of this hypothyroidism, or there is a need of thyroid supplementation. So very true, this hormonal changes definitely can lead to hair loss.
So your closing comments on the show.
Okay. So thank you so much.
All right, Dr. Margekar, closing comments, ma'am.
Yeah, so it was really a very nice discussion, and it is a very important topic chosen by you, because it is a very common problem facing by post-COVID patients. And when everyone is so much stressed, the few words of reassurance and few words of awareness to these patients will play a very vital role in getting themselves out that this hair loss is nothing, but it will definitely, you will regain your hair loss and your confidence also.
All right, so that's the most important message, that this is a temporary phase, this too shall pass, and please do not take stress. And of course, there would be hair gain as well. On that note, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Burman and Dr. Margekar. So viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition of India Fights Back. But before that, let me remind you once again to wear your face mask at all times, wash your hands and face regularly, and ensure that you follow physical distancing whenever you're stepping outside. Remember, these are simple precautions that are required to fight this pandemic. Take very good care and goodbye.